Hey everybody, happy Thanksgiving week. It's Tuesday, November 24th, 2015, a couple days before Thanksgiving. And I don't know about you, but I get very excited around the holidays. I love every bit of it. And we are hosting again this year, which we love doing. And so we are in full preparation mode, getting the table set and getting food prepared. I have a bunch of brioche I need to cut today, and we're already just starting to go into full-blown prep mode, which I love. And so I wanted to post this video earlier in the week because I know once Sean gets home from work tonight, we're going to be doing a bunch of stuff. Tomorrow it's all go, go, go. It wouldn't get done otherwise. I really should have done it yesterday, but some things came up, and yesterday was just a hard day, and a lot of things didn't get taken care of that needed to. So I wanted to post this video and get it out of the way and get it up for you guys who have asked about it. And I will keep it much, much shorter than the last video. Thank you to so many of you for your response to that video and your questions and comments and emails. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate it if you lasted the whole time. It was a long video, so I'm going to keep this one short. And I'm also hoping that if I continue to do some of these videos for the blog, that I can have some help making them a little more fun to look at than you just staring at my face. So I have a friend or two that are really good with video editing and making things look a little bit more snazzy. So that might be in the works in the new year. Who knows? But maybe not. Never know. But I just thought you get a look at my lovely downstairs and me, and maybe you'd like to look at something else, or I can make it just, a little more interactive or fun. I don't know. So we'll look into that. But what I wanted to do was last time I shared about the curriculum we used, because that is a frequently asked question. What curriculum do you guys use in your homeschool? And then another question I get asked a lot is, or discussions that come up a lot, conversations that come up a lot is, I am thinking about homeschooling. Where do I start? I think I take for granted that I've been surrounded by homeschoolers for a lot of time, for a long time, rather, even when we weren't thinking about homeschooling. Also, I went to school to teach. I worked at a church with the children's program for almost 7 years. So I've been working with children for a year. So for me, it was a little bit more of a smooth transition. And even with that experience, it still has been a humongous learning curve. So I definitely understand a person coming into homeschooling or being curious about it and completely being overwhelmed with the idea of it, let alone the actual execution of it. So when I'm asked that, I really like to share 5 books that I would recommend to any parent, really. Well, maybe one of them is definitely very homeschooling centered, but the other 4 I would recommend to any parent. No matter your schooling choice, they're great books, and I would recommend them. But these are the top 5 that I share with people when they ask, where do I start? I don't even know what to do. What am I supposed to do? What do you guys do during the day? Do you just sit at home, and what do you do? How do you do this? Where do you come up with information? And that's a whole nother topic. But the actual idea of homeschooling, I feel like some of these books will serve as encouragement to the people who are thinking about it and wondering if they can do it, which I believe anybody can. I really do. But they serve as encouragement for the beginning steps, but many of these books serve as encouragement along the way if you continue to homeschool. I reference them, I go back to them, and I've read them multiple times. So I'm going to share my top 5 books. If you're curious about homeschooling, if you need encouragement, if you're a newbie just like I am, I'm only in my 2nd year, these are the books I would recommend. So the first book that I would recommend, and I would recommend this to all parents, is, oh, Polly's crying. I think she's teething. It's Dumbing Us Down by John Taylor Gatto, The Hidden Curriculum of Compulsory Schooling. This was the book that was kind of the decider for Sean and I about homeschooling. And I won't really go much into it. I feel like it's a valuable read for any parent, regardless of whether you homeschool, if your children are in charter schools, if they're in public or private schools. This is a valuable read. John Taylor Gatto worked in the New York public school system for over 30 years, was awarded Teacher of the Year in New York, I think several times, and has written several books. He has a compelling argument for the negative social constructs that our current education system creates, and the difference between educating a child, truly educating a child, and some of the negative impacts of our current model of education in America. It's wow. It's really, really, really good. I read it in a couple days. Sean read it in like a day. And we both were very convicted by this book. It's great, and I would recommend it to anybody. It's really, really good. The next book is For the Children's Sake by Susan Schaefer McCauley. It is an encouraging book. It's a wonderful book that serves as encouragement for parents who are trying to create an atmosphere at their home of learning and education that's warm and inviting and inspirational. It also really will encourage you as a parent to understand the vital role that you play in your child's education. No matter what you're choosing for schooling your children, this is a wonderfully and beautifully written book. And it really does highlight your importance as a parent. I like this one quote. It pulls a lot from Charlotte Mason, who was a famous educator. This quote says, "The broad view of true education as the sum of all life meant that Charlotte Mason first turned her attention to the parents. She believed that they had the most interesting and valuable vocation that exists among mankind. Into their love, care, and responsibility this person was placed. Charlotte Mason never spoke of education as merely taking place behind the walls of the schoolroom. She saw the home as the basic educational environment." And so really it's wonderful encouragement for your role as a parent, and how school is not and should not just be limited to the hours you place at your home to learn or when you send your kids to school. That's not the only time learning takes place, but it's all day, all night. It's a lifestyle of learning, and we are so important to that, and we're responsible for it as parents. So it's a beautifully written book, and I've read it multiple times, and I love it. The next book is Honey for a Child's Heart by Gladys Hunt. I'm sorry about the sun, guys. I'm sitting by two windows. There we go. Honey for a Child's Heart. This book is a must. It's a classic, and I think everybody should have it on their bookshelf. It has wonderful book lists for all ages of children. And basically, it serves as a call to create a atmosphere of literature, loving literature in your home. How reading aloud to your children and presenting them with the best quality books is of the utmost importance for their imagination, for their education, for their learning environment, and how it's up to us to create that for our kids. And she has amazing book lists, amazing ideas for how to implement reading into your life and creating this atmosphere for your children. It's wonderful. I would definitely recommend it. The next one I would recommend is Educating the Wholehearted Child by Clay and Sally Clarkson. This is old school. It's been around for a really long time, but it has been revised and updated and expanded since the first printing years and years ago. Again, this book is all about how to create an atmosphere for your children that is well-rounded, in that it's not just you go to school to learn, or you learn at home, here's learning time, and then here's the rest of our life and the rest of our day, but really how the atmosphere of learning and love of literature and the love of the Lord is of the utmost importance. And it's talking basically about it is based on home-centered education, learning at home with your family and growing in Christ with your family, and using that as your mission and your goal within your learning. It's wonderful. It's really, really a great book. And Sally Clarkson's written lots of very encouraging books for moms and homeschoolers. But I love this book. It's wonderful. It really, you know what it does is it really encourages you that you can do this and you can homeschool. And if you feel that God is, nudging you towards it, this book serves as a wonderful kind of, I keep using the word encouraging, but it really is. It's encouraging. And we need that as homeschoolers because it's still, while homeschooling is definitely becoming much more popular and it's gaining a lot of traction, especially recently within the last couple of years, it's still, going against the flow. It's not a traditional model within the last, 80 to 100 years. It's different. So sometimes we feel different. Sometimes we feel alone. And we need books like this that encourage us to stay the course and keep going. And then the final book I'll recommend is much more practical. It's 100 top picks for homeschooling curriculum. If you're new to homeschooling and you're like, so where do you get your ideas for what you teach your kids? How do you know what they're learning? How do I know if my child's learning what they're supposed to be learning or learning what I want them to be learning? You're coming into homeschooling and you're like, what's going on? Where do I start? I would recommend this book. It really helped me. It's by Kathy Duffy, and it helped me to kind of narrow down how I thought our family would work best, curriculum-wise and learning-wise. So it challenges you to review how you best learn as a parent, but also how your child might best learn based on their character traits, based on their personality, and you as well, because that's important. The way your child learns is important, but also the way that you're able to teach is important, and they go hand in hand. And so what it does is it breaks down lots and lots and lots of the most popular curriculums and approaches and philosophies of education and of homeschooling, and it kind of directs you based on your personality and your child's. And I found it really, really helpful. I was able to also learn a lot about different philosophies of education and curriculum options that I didn't know about. And I've referenced it even, this year I referenced it for a possible switch in our math curriculum. So these are the books I would choose to share with someone who's new. I think probably the two I would choose right away if you're like, what am I supposed to be doing this? I would definitely say pray first and see if this is, you and your spouse pray and decide if this is something that the Lord's really pushing you towards or making you curious about for a reason. And then I would pray about it first, get on the same page as your spouse, but then I would also probably recommend these two books. Dumbing Us Down by John Taylor. This is why I need to get more professional with my videos. Dumbing Us Down by John Taylor Gatto, I would recommend that. And then I would also definitely recommend this for the children's sake. It's really important. I don't know. I'll put all the links down below. I'm sorry. This is less than professional, but hey, it's what I can do. So those are the two I would recommend right away, but the others are just as important and definitely just as helpful and encouraging. So that's it. I've stayed under 15 minutes, and like I said, I'll link to everything below. I hope it helped, and I hope to be back again to answer some of the other questions I get frequently asked. If you haven't had time, watch the previous video I made about our curriculum picks. If you're new to this homeschooling game, and I'd love to hear from you, hear any of your questions or input. I got some great ideas from previous watchers who shared their ideas for me. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving with your family and friends, with whatever you're doing. And I will talk to you later. Okay, bye.